Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now live at 4. Charlotte DeLeste in for Susan Simon, who went out east to watch her son compete in the rowing competition.
Good for her.
I guess it was kind of wet, but they did well.
That's all right.
So she'll be back with us tomorrow. Good to see you today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Lots going on this Monday. Here's what's making news. A woman has been found alive after authorities say she was reported missing yesterday evening.
It's an amazing story.
It is.
And an investigation is underway after a man is killed by Madison police officers last night on the city's southwest side. And
fast-moving wildfires erupted overnight in the Los Angeles area, forcing evacuations. That's all coming up. But first, let's take a look outside on this Monday. Kind of dreary.
See? That's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It is beautiful. Soak it all in,
It's not
folks.
white. Are you ready?
No.
The weather words. No. Dana's in the backyard with the grim details.
Yes, I've had a lot of very aggressive no's responding to that question. It does seem like fall might be coming to a brief halt this evening. Right now, mostly cloudy skies, a little chilly outside. Notice on our Doppler track, we're quiet throughout southern Wisconsin, but off to the west, we are looking at light snowfall right now in Iowa and in Minnesota. So we have a winter weather advisory in effect for tonight into tomorrow morning for Grant, Richland, and Crawford counties. That goes into effect at 7 p.m. For the rest of the area, we're looking at that starting at 10 o'clock tonight as some snow showers will move on in. Chilly temperatures expected overnight heading into tomorrow. Rain likely for some areas in front of the snow, but then, of course, we quickly transition over to snow overnight and then some more snow ahead, especially as we head towards Thursday and Halloween. Things aren't really looking so great for Halloween on Thursday, but we'll take a closer look at some timing and accumulation totals in just a few minutes. Right now on the Beltline and Park Street, things are going okay both on the east and westbound side. Though, of course, the eastbound side slowing down just a little bit at this time. We don't have any major accidents to report. That is the good news. And if you look downtown on the Isthmus right now, we aren't seeing any major delays either. Around downtown Janesville, a few stop-and-go spots just as more folks hop on the roads. 27 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, Stock City to Middleton. 17 minutes of the drive from Sun Prairie to downtown. Just a little quicker than usual, about 14 minutes this evening.
Dana, thank you.
A woman was found alive after going missing for more than 24 hours.
Officials say 67-year-old Amy Ruppnow is okay and headed to the hospital for evaluation. Gabriella Becerra joins us from Midtown Road near the woods where officials found Ruppnow.
Amy Ruppnow was found just about a couple hundred yards from this road, about 50 yards into the trees. Police say she was only about 200 yards from where she initially was reported missing, but because she was most likely disoriented, she was probably wandering around in the woods. Officials used horses, dogs, and drones to help locate this woman, but police say it was boots on the ground that made this search a success. Madison police recruits were the ones to find her, and Lieutenant Jason Ostrenga says it was a happy moment for everyone there.
You're out here trying to find someone. They were excited to find her, letting people know. I feel like I could almost hear that when we were here from the woods. So there's some emotion.
Big smiles on their
Big
faces.
smiles. Big smiles. She's alive. People that care for her are here. A lot of smiles. I'm sure there's some tears.
Ruppnow was taken by WISC-TV to the ambulance where she was reunited with loved ones. Officials say Ruppnow was found conscious, alert, and she was doing okay. She was taken by ambulance to the hospital just for an evaluation. Madison police are calling today a success.
Yes, she is very lucky, that's for sure.
Very fortunate.
Yeah. Nice ending. Thank you, Gabby.
Madison police shot and killed a man overnight on the city's southwest side.
It happened in the 6500 block of Raymond Road. Eric Franke joining us now with the details. Eric?
Mark, in Charlotte, an investigation now in the hands of the Division of Criminal Investigation, an outside agency investigating, as is the norm in these situations. Dane County Dispatch took the call. This was just before 10 p.m. last night in the 6500 block of Raymond Road. The initial call coming in for a man who was firing a weapon out in the yard in that area. Multiple units responded.
Our preliminary investigation is indicating that the subject was armed with a handgun and did in fact fire a shot at officers during the encounter. Multiple officers were involved in the incident.
Now, there were no injuries to any of the officers involved. They described the man who died as a 63-year-old white male. They were unable to confirm to us whether or not he actually lived in that neighborhood. Now, this is the 11th fatal shooting by an officer in the state of Wisconsin this year. It is the first fatal police shooting in Madison since June of 2016, when a Madison officer shot and killed a mentally ill man who had attacked him with a pitchfork on the Near East Side. Mark, Charlotte.
Eric, thank you. A fast-moving wildfire erupted overnight near the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, prompting mandatory evacuations of nearby areas. At least 5 homes have been destroyed and more than 500 acres charred. Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James was among those who had to leave his home. He tweeted he had been driving around with his family trying to find a place to go. He ended up safely finding a place and urged others to get to safety. In Northern California, a fire in Sonoma County has destroyed nearly 100 homes and buildings. Hundreds of thousands of people have been ordered to leave. The fire started Wednesday, but intensified over the weekend due to hurricane-force winds. Weather officials say Mother Nature is now giving firefighters a bit of a break, but unfortunately, it will not last long.
A manhunt is underway for the gunman who opened fire at an off-campus college party in Texas. The shooting early yesterday killed 2 people and hurt 12 others. There was another shooting in Texas last night, this time at a vigil as family and friends gathered in Dallas to remember 23-year-old Kevin Berry Jr. Berry was allegedly one of the 2 people killed at that off-campus party in Greenville, Texas, near the Texas A&M University Commerce campus. 12 other people were injured. 6 of them have gunshot wounds. Investigators believe the shooter came into the building through a back door and may have targeted someone at the party, but deputies say they are not sure because some witnesses are not cooperating. Investigators say the suspect used a handgun and may have targeted his victims.
President Trump is touting a weekend raid that resulted in the death of the ISIS leader responsible for the killings of thousands of people. President Trump celebrated the death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi during a speech in Chicago today. Earlier in the day, the president said he may release video from the raid that killed al-Baghdadi, but some officials are saying not so fast.
Am I considering releasing video footage of the raid? And we may take certain parts of it and release it, yes.
We're not prepared at this time to release those. They're going through a declassification process.
The president is also defending his decision not to notify congressional leaders about the al-Baghdadi mission ahead of time, slamming Democrats conducting the impeachment inquiry. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he found out about the mission when the rest of the world did. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said, quote, the House must be briefed on this raid, which the Russians, but not top congressional leadership, were notified of in advance, end quote.
And the House says it will vote Thursday on a resolution to formalize procedures for the impeachment inquiry into President Trump. Meanwhile, a key witness was a no-show before the closed-door House impeachment inquiry panel, but Democrats say they won't be deterred in their investigation. Bofta Yaman has more from Capitol Hill.
We are not willing to allow the White House to engage us in a lengthy game of rope-a-dope in the courts. So we press forward.
House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff says the impeachment inquiry has additional evidence of obstruction after former Deputy National Security Advisor Charles Kupperman failed to appear Monday despite a subpoena. Kupperman filed a lawsuit to determine if he must appear after the White House told him not to. His lawyers say he won't testify without a judge's ruling. Kupperman was on the July 25th phone call in which President Trump asked Ukraine's leader to investigate political rival Joe Biden and his son Hunter.
We had a very good conversation with the Ukrainian president. The conversation was perfect.
President Trump continued to defend that call before heading to a law enforcement event in Chicago. But in an interview with 60 Minutes, Biden said the president was asking a foreign country for assistance in the 2020 election.
He's going out and asking for help. Come help me. Come help me keep Biden from being the nominee.
So far, lawmakers have received testimony from top diplomats, some who say they believe the withholding of military aid to Ukraine may have been for political reasons.
Are they all lying?
Well, I can only tell you what I know. And what I know is that the transcript of the president's call
with President Zelensky shows that there was no quid pro quo.
Vice President Mike Pence also defended the president and himself on their dealings with Ukraine. House lawmakers expect to hear more from Trump administration officials throughout the week as part of the impeachment inquiry. Bofta Imam, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And at a political conference over the weekend, former White House Chief of Staff John Kelly said he warned the president he could be impeached if he hired a yes man to replace him. In a response, President Trump said Kelly never told him that.
Janesville native and former House Speaker Paul Ryan has created a nonprofit organization focused on fighting poverty. The former Republican representative announced the launch of the American Idea Foundation this morning. Earlier this year, he moved more than $7 million from his congressional account into the nonprofit. The organization will be based in Janesville, will also work to increase economic opportunities and advance evidence-based public policies.
There's more to come at 4. Film critic Will Loper will tell us what he thinks about the new Netflix movie, The Irishman.
We'll get his rating and hear about his brush with fame at the Hollywood premiere of the film this past weekend. That's when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4. In the mood.
Well, Dane County Farmers Market officials announced today the late winter market will be moving to the Garver Feed Mill.
For the last 16 years, the winter market has been at the Madison Senior Center. But after an increase in vendors and attendance, the market is moving to a bigger venue. The summer market will continue as planned until November 16th, followed by the holiday market, which will be at the Monona Terrace. People can expect 30 to 40 vendors selling cheese, honey, meats, and more at the winter market.
We were really attracted to the mission and the vision behind the Garber Feed Mill and the fact that there are other artisan food companies here.
The market will start at the feed mill on January 4th, 2020 and run until April 4th when the market will move back outside on the outside of the Capitol building once again. Metro buses 5, 7, and 17 arrive near the feed mill.
To check it out.
Definitely. Americans say they lost nearly $1.5 billion to fraud last year.
Now, a quickly growing phone scam is targeting banking customers via text message. Everything seemed legitimate when Peter Gunst answered a call earlier this month that appeared to come from his bank. The caller asked Gunst, who lives in California, if he attempted a withdrawal in Miami. After Gunst said no, she asked for his bank number identification, and he gave it to her. The scammer used Gunst's ID to prompt a text message from the bank's real phone number, like others he'd received before. And with that verification code, he read it back to her over the phone, which allowed the caller to access his account and list off actual bank transactions.
The fact that they used the bank's own infrastructure to send that PIN code to me, which then allowed them to reset my password, made it very credible.
It was only when the caller asked Gunst for his bank PIN number that he realized something was wrong. He hung up and called the bank's real fraud line to lock his account. Experts say some red flags include if any caller asks for your name, address, social security number, or account numbers. And the best way to make sure you're really talking to your bank, well, just call the number on your card. On Wall Street, earnings reports continue to top expectations, and that news sent stocks higher. The Dow Industrials closed up 132 points, ending the day at 27,090. The NASDAQ added 82, and the S&P added 16, closing at a record high.
A friend of ours is having a little trouble. A friend at the top. Back then, there was nobody in this country who didn't know who Jimmy Hoffa was.
Get the gun out of his hand! You always charge a guy with a gun. With a knife, you run away. So you charge with a gun, with a knife, you run.
That was a clip from The Irishman, a movie releasing in theaters this coming weekend and on Netflix November 27th. Our film critic Will Loper is just back from Los Angeles to the premiere of the film and is here to tell us if it's worth seeing. Whirlwind trip.
Oh my gosh, fantastic experience. Yeah, so Netflix, they threw me out there, they put me up in a hotel to see this movie, and I got to see the entire cast in person, and I'm happy to report that the movie is indeed worth seeing. So for the first time ever, director Martin Scorsese teams up with Al Pacino as union leader Jimmy Hoffa and Robert De Niro as Frank the Irishman Sheeran. The movie introduces us to Frank in a nursing home as he looks back on his career as a hitman who worked with the mob and eventually became involved with Jimmy Hoffa, and he may have had something to do with his disappearance as well. Now, if you've seen Goodfellas or Casino, you know what you're getting yourself into. There's mob hits, there's crime, there's corruption, all familiar themes to Scorsese's work, and this film provides a nice continuation to those themes. Now, the film's budget ballooned to $160 million to de-age De Niro, Joe Pesci, Pacino, and others, and, you know, it takes a little getting used to. For the most part, it works. Pacino, he looks fantastic, but, you know, De Niro is supposed to be maybe 30, but for a few scenes, it's still clear he moves around like a 76-year-old man. Now, I and the rest of the critics who got flown out there got to talk to Scorsese, Pacino, and De Niro the next day, and they had some interesting things to talk about, having to act younger.
For me, the challenge would come pretty much every time I really moved in the thing. So they'd say, Al, you're 39. And I'd say, I know that. And it would say, all right. And then they'd say, 39. Then I'd have to be in the scene and I'd have to get up. And this would start. And we had a guy there just come up to you and say, you're 39. You get up and it's like a 39-year-old. So I wondered how you guys...
Well, the thing was that he came up to me and he said, it was the first day of shooting, and he said, you were yelling at the TV about the Kennedys and stuff, and he got up. And I said, great. Then we did another take. I said, terrific. Okay, we're going to do one more. And then and they came up to me and they said, he's supposed to be 49 in this. And I said, oh, what does that mean? I said, he doesn't look like he's getting up at 49. So I told the guys, I said, you tell him.
what's the difference between 39 and 49 getting up?
I know. I guess there was an age expert on there who had to come up, and he's like, he needs to creak a little bit more as he's getting up, and 39, a little bit more limber.
What was it like to be in the room with those guys?
It was so surreal. I mean, I just couldn't take my eyes off of them. I'm just like looking. There's De Niro in the flesh. Okay, there's Scorsese. There's Pacino. Just, my mind was blown. Yeah, it was amazing.
Amazing experience, that's for sure. All right, all that aside.
Yes.
What's the rating?
I gave it 4 Joe Pesci's out of 5. You know, Scorsese had to convince him to come out of retirement after 20 years, and he's fantastic. He should act in more stuff.
3.5 hours.
3.5. It's long. It's a marathon. Yeah, it'll be nice on Netflix when you can sort of take breaks.
Yeah, we'll watch it like a series.
A series, yeah. It's a television show, yeah.
All right, next week
we got Harriet. True story of Harriet Tubman.
Really?
Yeah.
That should be that should be very good. Yep. All right, thank you, Will.
Thank you much.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
So
Take a look at this. At first, it looks like a Halloween prank, a prop made to look like a crashed satellite. But no, this actually is a crashed satellite on the front lawn of a Michigan home. The object's called the Space Selfie Balloon. It's owned by Samsung. The company says the device's descent was planned, but weather conditions forced an early landing. No one was hurt, and local officials are still investigating the whole thing. Part of it ended up in the tree. That's the balloon part, and there's the
rest of it. It does look like a decoration, though.
It does.
And speaking of outer space, NASA is getting into the Halloween spirit.
The space agency shared a Facebook photo of the sun that looked like a flaming jack-o'-lantern. The image was captured on October 8th. The Solar Dynamics Observatory, or SDO. The SDO watches the sun at all times from its orbit in space.
Boy, that sun's an angry thing, isn't it?
Angry. It's a little bit of a hothead.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
And we may have some snow on those pumpkins. No sun.
That seems increasingly likely, yes, heading into tomorrow and for Halloween right now. So we have 2 rounds before we wrap up the month. We'll take a closer look at what is ahead right after the break.
It's still October, right?
I know. We're
You sure about
fall. No, I'm not at this point. I might be. So our focus right now, of course, 110% on the snow chances developing overnight for Tuesday morning. And then we get to shift gears and focus on snow yet again for the second half of the week. Right now, our Doppler track is quiet for most of southern Wisconsin. Very cloudy outside right now in front of this next system that's building on in. Off to the west, we already have some light snowfall for parts of Minnesota and into Iowa. Around the Twin Cities, currently seeing some light snow. All of that, though, again, still far off to the west. Not going to build in until we get a little later on this evening. Temperatures are still in the 40s by about midnight. That's when we have a little more widespread snow. As temperatures fall close to freezing, of course, we are expecting snowfall stretching throughout the entire area. There is the chance, though, areas southeast of Madison to see a little bit of rain first before the snow. As temps, of course, will still be closer to 40, and even overnight around Milwaukee and that southeast corner of the state along the lake, where temperatures tend to stay a little steadier overnight. May just deal with some light showers before the snow chances build in for early on Tuesday. The good news for your drive into work, the snow should stop falling for us overnight. Just a mostly cloudy sky early in the day, and then we a little bit of a clearing sky with some sun coming through. That sunshine is going to help our temperatures climb into the upper 30s, close to 40 for some areas. So everything that does fall likely not going to stay past Thursday night. Those shadier spots may hold on to the snow for Tuesday night into Wednesday, but likely not going to last during the day on Tuesday. So as far as accumulation totals, still hovering in that 1 to 2 inch range with snowfall tonight into tomorrow morning. So that does mean, of course, our first measurable snowfall of the season. A little ahead of schedule for measurable snowfall, but a little behind schedule for first trace amounts. Some isolated spots around Dane County, especially on those lower lying cooler areas, could pick up a little over 2 inches of snowfall, but this isn't going to be a major accumulation event for us. That's the good news. There are already, though, winter weather advisories that have been issued for the area. For Grant County, Crawford, and Richland County, we're looking at that advisory starting at 7 o'clock. You're likely going to see, of course, the snowfall a little earlier in the southwest corner, but stretching through the rest of the area, that winter weather advisory goes into effect at 10 p.m. and all of that lasts until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. By then, of course, the snow should stop falling. Overnight, though, the roads are going to be very slick and messy. So folks working later, or if you have to get up very, very early on Tuesday, plan ahead for a longer drive on in. Looking to our next event for Wednesday night into Thursday for Halloween. The snow chances are going to start to build in late Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Likely going to again see some lighter showers first in the very southeast corner of the state, but it's trending more towards a late overnight and early daytime Thursday event. That means that it seems to be trending towards the snowfall actually stopping in time for trick-or-treating. However, we will, of course, still have some snow on the ground by Thursday night into Friday. All of that is out of here. As far as accumulation totals for our Halloween event, they've been a little all over the place with our models right now, but it does seem, again, like we will at least pick up some measurable snowfall coming through for Wednesday night into Thursday. That snowfall starts on up. By midnight, we have our heaviest chances around Madison, but for your drive into work on Tuesday, the moisture's all out of here. Temperatures in the afternoon will rise on up, and that's going to help everything melt on away. Clouds build back in Tuesday night into Wednesday, and for Wednesday, we're looking at those precip chances starting late in the afternoon. Showers expected along the state line first, as those temperatures will be just a little warmer outside. We do have alert days in the forecast for Tuesday and for Halloween. For Tuesday, that is just really in the morning. Just because of the snow coming through, that morning commute is going to be a little slick outside. And for Thursday, of course, we might have a little mix of rain and snow showers, not exactly ideal for trick-or-treating. Overnight tonight, plan on 29. Haven't had to use the snow graphic for some time. Rain and snow coming on through for us tomorrow. Plan on a high of 38. The snow showers will end. And overall, we're looking at a partly sunny sky for the day. For Wednesday, a little more cloud coverage expected with the chance for some mix developing later on. And Thursday, we're looking at the chance for the rain and snow showers to continue. The good news, once we get through October, really, heading into November, we will get some more sunshine that will continue to be pretty chilly outside, even extending into the weekend. That's a quick look at your forecast.
What a way to end October,
nice
right?
Thanksgiving forecast.
It is time for Potentially Yours on Live at 4.
And Marissa DeGroot is here from the Dane County Humane Society. Welcome to you.
Hello.
Who's our friend this week?
This big, handsome guy is Smokey, and he is an adult pit bull terrier mix and could not be any sweeter. Look at that face.
He's found stray in Madison.
Yep, he was found stray
in
in the Madison area. Now we're looking for a great new home for Smokey. But what we do know about him is he's just kind of a gentle giant. He loves a good nap and kind of a nice long walk, but I think he would do well in a lot of different families.
And he's strong.
Yes, he is very strong.
He's not like wild by any means.
But he's brains and brawn, so very strong guy.
He knows tricks.
He does, so he has a really good sit. And then can we show him your shake? Thank you.
Boy.
And then how about a high five?
Oh, stop. Oh my goodness.
So beauty, brawn, and brains here in Smokey.
Hey, where are you going?
He's done.
Here,
Come on back.
He's got his treat. He's done.
He wants Dennis. Dennis, you should come up here.
Smokey, come here. Come here.
Here you go, handsome.
Come here. Now we're all wound up.
Now we're wound up.
All right, let's go to the graphic here and get this straightened out. You got a big fundraiser this weekend.
We do. So this weekend is the Police and Fire Charity Ball, and that is happening Saturday over at Monona Terrace. There's just a few more days to get your tickets there, and that's all benefiting Dane County Humane Society. So
and they still have the calendars available too?
Yep, and we're going to have the calendars available that night as well.
Perfect. Maybe you can get some firefighters to sign their money.
months.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
And there's an online auction too, I saw.
Yep, we have our online auction, and you can go to giveshelter.org, and anybody, even if you're not attending the event, you can get in on that auction.
Oh, really?
Good.
That's cool. All right, let's.
How about last week's
Last time?
Oh, last time we had our sweet kitty. That was Booberry. And Booberry was adopted.
Oh my
Yeah, yeah, he was she? I can't remember.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. All right, let's get Smokey at home here.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Back on set here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Difficulty navigating those stairs, but
well,
he figured it out now.
You know, treats. Treats will do it.
And he gets
right?
along with other dogs and
Yeah, I think
kids
as long as he's having a nice slow intro, I think he's going to fiddle in with a lot of different families.
Yeah, look at that face.
Yeah.
All right,
He's a sweet boy.
let's get Smokey at home. Go to the website, giveshelter.org, 838-0413, and you check out the auction and tickets for the charity ball, all sorts of good stuff. Marissa,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Boy.
He's a good boy.
Smokey's a good boy.
Stay with us. There's more to come at 4.
Flu season is fast approaching. I'm Lisa Mateo with what you need to know to protect your family.
Here's a live look at the Memorial Union. Is that the sun setting already? No, it can't. Not yet. Another hour or so. Well, the flu season is fast approaching. Activity remains low, but it's already increasing.
And that is why doctors want everyone to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Lisa Mateo has more.
Done. Allison Danks and her 2 daughters are getting their flu shots.
I get my kids vaccinated every year just because it's preventative.
When the flu arrives and how long the season lasts can vary, but activity usually starts increasing now. That's why it's recommended to get vaccinated before the end of October if possible.
That's when the flu really starts to get bad, and even after the vaccine, it takes a few weeks to build full immunity.
The CDC recommends everyone aged 6 months and older get the vaccine. Dr. Alyssa Rubin from Happy and Healthy Pediatrics in New York says don't believe the common misconception that the shot can give you the flu.
It is impossible. It is a dead part of a virus in the vaccine, and it cannot cause any illness. Most common side effects we do see is feeling run down for a day after getting the vaccine, because your body is building immunity. Sometimes you get a red swollen arm at the site of injection.
She also emphasizes the flu is serious. Getting the vaccine can prevent illness and can also reduce the chances of being hospitalized with complications of the flu. Last flu season, as many as 43 million people got sick, 650,000 people were hospitalized, and 61,000 died. Allison says the benefits are worth a few tears.
The flu shot doesn't guarantee that they're not going to get it, but at least if they do end up getting it, hopefully they'll have a milder case.
She says as a parent, this is the best way to protect her children. Lisa Mateo, CBS News, Mineola, New York.
It's estimated that every year about 80% of children who die from the flu are not vaccinated.
Get the shot. Still to come at 4, lung cancer used to be a death sentence.
But new treatments are increasing survival rates. We'll find out what's being done to battle this disease when Live at 4 continues.
Bit of a cloudy drive home right now. Overall, though, still dry outside. Here's a look at the Beltline right at Park Street. The eastbound side getting a little more congested, moving a little slower, but the westbound side seems to be in a pretty good place for this evening. No major accidents to report. A few disabled vehicles along 39 and 90 blocking the shoulders, but no lanes blocked right now. On the eastbound side, closer to John Nolan, those speeds near 20 miles per hour. And then, of course, picking back up the closer you get towards 39 and 90, and then heading towards Gammon. Things look just fine on the eastbound side. It's only once you hit that congestion downtown. Now, for the westbound side, all looks just fine. Janesville looks okay right now. A few delays, of course, downtown, and then the interstate taking you all the way down to the state line should be fairly smooth. 27 minutes from Janesville to the Beltline, 16 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton. The same goes to get from Sun Prairie to downtown. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Dana, thank you. Halloween came early for the animals at the Whipsnade Zoo in the United Kingdom. The endangered rockhopper penguins enjoyed their fish-stuffed pumpkin. Who wouldn't? Zookeepers filled scented pumpkins with snacks for the squirrel monkeys, some of them pretty handy getting their treats. And the tiger cubs had a good time playing and eating pumpkins. Experts say the pumpkins stimulate the animals' brains, so it's fun and good for them. Well, according to the American Cancer Society, men have a 1 in 15% chance of getting lung cancer.
And women have a 1 in 17 chance of getting the disease. There are new treatments, though, that are proving to be optimistic. And we are joined by Dr. Tiziana Leal and her patient, Dr. Mike Becker, to talk about a conference highlighting those new treatments. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here today.
Yes. So you have lung cancer. What stage?
Stage 4, yeah.
Non-smoker?
Non-smoker. A little bit in college many years ago, but we're considered non-smoker, I guess.
And what is it like to be a physician? You're a surgeon to deal with this.
The physician part means nothing at that point. You know, I was shocked to get the diagnosis. I had some back pain, and it took a month to figure it out, and it came from a lung lesion right to my spine. So it was stage 4 right away. I actually saw my own MRI scan with the radiologist, and I about hit the floor when I saw my results. Luckily, I put everything I knew in the past and went to the real experts and learned that there's new treatments and amazing therapy that were not available when I trained 30-something years ago. Yeah. I'm an ear, nose, and throat doctor. We don't deal with lung very much, so.
And typically when you get a 4th stage diagnosis, you automatically think that's the death sentence right there. But you were diagnosed over a year ago, and you look great.
Well, thanks. I'm active. I'm working part-time and enjoying golf and snowboarding and doing everything I can thanks to these amazing immunotherapy drugs and some radiation.
Talk about this. I mean, this is very promising.
Right. We have made significant advances in lung cancer therapies, and that's thankfully to lung cancer research. And that's one of the things that we're celebrating coming up in November. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and we'd like to emphasize lung cancer research. Lung cancer, unfortunately, still is a deadly disease and still is a cancer that is underfunded. And so one of the things that we want to highlight is the importance of lung cancer research to bring better therapies, to continue to build upon these great outcomes that we're having, but we need to make them better. And so this month, we're going to have an event at the University of Wisconsin, the Carbone Cancer Center, on Saturday, November 2nd at the Nakoma.
Nakoma Country Club.
It's going to be a full-day event starting up at 9:15. It's open, free to the public, to friends, family, lung cancer patients, lung cancer advocates. Our whole lung cancer team is going to be there. Dr. Becker is going to be there. We're going to have just talks that are relevant to patients and family members. We're going to have patient panels. We're going to have an outside speaker that's going to be coming in. And I think it'll be a great event, opportunity to just talk, get more information.
It's this Saturday. What sort of new treatments are right on the bubble that we hope break through?
Certainly immunotherapy has been an amazing breakthrough for patients with lung cancer, has really improved the survival and the outcomes, and importantly also the quality of life, the way that people feel when they're getting treated and how they live and being able to do the things that you enjoy without bad side effects. That has been an amazing improvement. Also in targeted therapies, we now can identify different kinds of lung cancer and really better treat it. Another important thing is to understand that lung cancer is not just a disease of smokers, and that really anybody can get lung cancer. So one of the things, too, that we've been talking about is how to improve and end the stigma of lung cancer, that anybody can get lung cancer. It can be your doctor. It can be your teacher. It can be your neighbor.
There is a stigma to it, and the first response is, well, I never smoked. Well, that's, that's almost victimizing.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Right, exactly. And you know, lung cancer is a disease that can really happen to anybody, and we really want to educate everyone about lung cancer and educate about the need to improve early detection and lung cancer screening as well. So there's a lot going on in the lung cancer field, a lot of advances, and we really want to get the word out there.
So it's called Inspiring Hope. That's the name of this group meeting at Nakoma next week.
There's
and there is
nothing wrong
free
with
lunch,
having
by
hope.
the way.
Yeah.
Free lunch.
Yes.
Food, there you go. You get people
You can't
with
play
food.
golf that day, but
So your message is it's not a death sentence.
right. Although I still have my moments. I worry. There are times when I don't feel great, but it's mostly been very positive. Yeah.
And
I
it's
got
good
to
to
keep
have
my
that.
hair.
That's
even,
great.
Too.
And you have
Whatever
a good
that's worth.
support system. You're talking about your family with these appointments. It's,
Yeah. Yeah, well, we have like group sessions. I have 3 of my 4 kids are doctors. So some are in Madison area or visiting. So we have like a group meeting and we all vote, but guess who gets to decide?
Of course.
The final vote.
My wife is out there.
She gets to decide.
So the event is
Dr. Leal.
The event is this Saturday at the Nakoma Country Club. And everyone's invited. 9:45 it starts.
9:15.
9:15.
And it's a full day event. It's free, and everybody's invited. We're going to have a great day, and we're super excited. As I said, we have an outside speaker, Chris Draft, who's an ex-NFL player, who is
He lost his wife at a very young age. I
Yes,
understand.
he lost his wife to lung cancer at a very young age, and he is a lung cancer patient advocate with national, international presence, and he's going to be here with us, and I think it'll be a great event, and
That's
we're
great.
super excited.
Should be great.
Get the word out.
Mike,
Yes,
best of luck
everyone
to you.
come. Thank you.
Thanks for being with
Appreciate
us
it,
today.
guys.
Thank you so much.
We'll have a final check of our weather coming up.
What do you roll playback?
So if you hadn't heard, we got some snow coming.
Yeah, a little bit. It'll be here. Right now, though, thankfully, things are quiet and calm. Here's a live look. It's mostly cloudy outside. Looking at our Doppler track, all the snow is still well off to the west, but looking at the next about 2 to 3 hours, we'll start to see light snowfall enter into parts of Grant, Crawford, and Richland counties. That's where the winter weather advisory goes into effect at 7 p.m. For the rest of the area, Iowa, Sauk, Dane County, winter weather advisory goes into effect at 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll get to hold off a little longer before the snow builds in. all the way through until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. The concern, of course, any accumulating snowfall could make roads a little slick for early tomorrow. So we also have alert days in the forecast for Tuesday and Thursday. Our concern for tomorrow is the roads, but for Thursday with trick-or-treating, any rain or snow showers coming down might impact that activity later on. Less than ideal, of course. So go ahead and plan ahead with your Halloween costumes. Make sure that a jacket and layers definitely included in that, because the snow coming through right now could bring a few inches of accumulation. As far as actually nailing down those exact numbers, we're going to hold off just a little longer because the models are a little scattered. Some big numbers, some smaller numbers. Once they start to agree just a little more, then we'll be able to kind of hammer down what we're looking at for
My
Thursday.
shovel costume should come in handy.
Yeah, it should. It'll be really good. Just scoot you along the patio.
I just bought some snow boots yesterday, so perfect timing.
We're ready.
But schools will be open tomorrow. I mean, this is not going to be that.
It's really not. We're 1 to 2 inches for us overnight. Some isolated lower lying areas might get a little over 2 inches, but this should be very easy to clean up, and it shouldn't really impact schools. Really just more of a commute thing.
All right. Dana, thank you. Tomorrow here on Live at 4, it is World Stroke Day, and we'll meet a Madison man who's written a book about his stroke at the age of 38.
And Consumer Reports investigates unsafe infant in-bed sleep products.
We'll be right back. In today's